Both my injuries, back break and all that, it's 2 or 3 hours is all I did. Normally I'll just do something, go back.
Pretty much most of all the necklaces.
So you need to.
I might.
Yeah, good.
Like right now I feel fine.
Especially the ones with the.
It's been a few hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it called? Ventilium?
John.
I
It's
didn't.
the sea
realize
creature.
that.
Oh, no kidding.
Historically, it's our old money.
Vitamins.
Oh,
And I gave them
That's a
to
good.
her.
They would bring those, they even had bankers who were and they would tattoo lines on their arm. And so according to the studies of the
This
distance,
one last
It
time.
does, like.
So I have like
lots of
70
different
copies.
pictures on that, and then you just have to watch
So like some of these,
Yeah.
like these would be very valuable.
yeah.
And but nowadays,
Who would have thought? you know,
$25 for.
Little critter gummies.
Sure.
Yeah.
Make her so sick.
Break up, bet they do their shell.
Back in the 90s, go
Uh,
to a vendor and get $1 a piece. Now they're $25 a piece.
we good.
Yes.
Well, let's get our meeting started and we're here with the Confederated Tribe of the Grand Ronde with the Wood Village Council. And we welcome the Grand Ronde elders to our city. And this is not a new occasion because we have been forming a relationship for a number of years now. And it keeps growing. And when we come together, we have opportunities to share ideas, the future. And we always talk a bit about the past too. So welcome. And excuse me, I do have, it's not a COVID cough. So stand clear. So to start our meeting, as we always do at our council meetings, is we read the land acknowledgement pledge. So Councillor Clark, if you would please read that.
Thank you, Mayor. The Chinookian people, known as the Clackamas and Cascades, are the indigenous people of the land now inhabited by the city of Wood Village and other areas of the Columbia River. The village of the Nechakli was located near the today's Blue Lake Park. Ancestral life of these peoples included a seasonal round of resources gathering and stewardship from the Wapato fields and fishing areas of the Columbia River to the cedar and huckleberry gathering areas of the High Cascades. Introduced disease from the early settlers dramatically reduced the number of these people. They signed the Willamette Valley Treaty of the 1855 with the United States government and were forcibly removed to the Grand Ronde Indian Reservation. We thank the descendants of these tribes for being the original stewards and protectors of these lands since time immemorial. We also acknowledge the systematic policies of genocide, relocation, and assimilation that still impact many Indigenous and Native American families today. We are honored by the collective works of many Native nations, leaders, and families who are demonstrating resilience, resistance, revitalization, healing, and creativity. And we are honored to be guests upon these lands.
Thank you, Councillor Clark. And if you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag is at the rear. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is another elder? No, okay. Thank you for being a part of our meeting today.
Speaking to you, it's writing in the back.
Yeah. Welcome. Yeah, thanks for being here. Would you care to introduce yourself? Sure. Brett, welcome. Today you looking at your agenda there. This meeting is going to be fluid. We all know each other well enough. But what we would, as we work through this, the discussion about issues and projects and mutual interest, that's going to just flow. And we'll share ideas, open discussions and questions. And our lunch will be served at 11:30. And Councilor Rio Campos, would you talk about our lunch and who's bringing our lunch?
Yeah, if you guys were here last time, it was brought by a group called Los Líderes Naturales, Natural Leaders. It's a grassroots groups compiled of members of our Wood Village community, Fairview, Troutdale, Gresham, and the Greater Portland. And it's a group that the city and personally myself have been able to collaborate on a lot of things. A great connection to the community and have helped us and guide us in some of the decision making we've been able to do. And my mom's a part of the group, so that's I think a huge benefit. But it's an honor for them to help out and for me for them to be a part of this as well.
Well, if you've had the pleasure of having the natural leaders serve you lunch, you will understand. Absolutely. It's going to be a nice lunch. Let me just stop and recognize that as we move forward today, there are, I really see this as one of the occasions where, and we always try to honor the past village. And we do it in a number of ways. We do it certainly, you see the Veterans Memorial at the front of our building. Celebrate that. Stasha and I were talking, and you look at the building, there's a lot of timber in it. It's not, there is some cedar, but there's timber in it, which is certainly a heritage to the state of Oregon. And when we think about the past and today, we'll have the honor and the pleasure of planting a tree for a tribal elder and matriarch that was such a profound influence, not only the Grand Ronde tribe, but the indigenous across Oregon and across the nation. So we'll look forward to planting that cedar tree again to recognize our past. When we recognize our past, we also have to remember that there are forces that don't want to remember the past. And it's important, I think, as we honor the past, that we also recognize there are some less than glorious aspects of our history. And we have to be stewards. I believe in our elected officials, as elected officials, and as really some of us elders in our own right, but to remind people that our history does have blights and does have incidences that some people would like us not to remember. Quick story here. My granddaughter is a junior at Portland State. And usually when the grandkids come in, one of my first questions is, what are you reading? So she came in the other night and I said, how's your classes? She says, I'm taking a sociology class. She's a math major, and more math than I would ever know in my life. But she comes in and I'm a former history teacher. So I ask her, what are you reading? She shows me the book that she's reading, and it's a sociology class. And she says, Grandpa John, there is stuff in this book that I never learned in high school. Never learned because it wasn't the curriculum that has been developed over the ages in high school curriculum. So we had that little conversation, and when she left, I said, I have an extra copy of a book I just finished, and it's Killers of the Autumn Moon. And some of you may have read that, but I actually had an extra copy, so I gave it to her. And I said, when you get done with your sociology text that you're discussing in class, take a read on that, Lila, and then we can talk some more. So I, again, just to impress, and as I said, I was a history teacher, but I can honestly say there were things that we now are talking about in history that I did not teach in high school history classes in the 70s and the 80s, because that information wasn't readily available as it is today. I also think as we move along today, this is about the present and enhancing the present and thinking about how we can improve situations across our areas of influence in some of the most serious conditions we have now in the state of Oregon, and certainly for every city and municipality, not only in Oregon, but across the nation, is our houseless population. And we think about that, and I certainly believe, and the council had a presentation Tuesday night, and it was from the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office, and it's called the HOPE Team. And it's a team of a deputy, 2 deputies and a sergeant, and they go out, and you're shaking your head, so you're familiar with the HOPE Team. In the end, as we talked about that, it really became apparent. It's hard work, it's complex, and it's one person at a time. Often I think about, and I get frustrated with working through bureaucracies and various bureaucracies, because it's just hard to get things done. But I try to remember that, it's one person at a time. And usually, if you do that hard work at the ground level, that work will stay done. So I think about that for today, too. And lastly, envisioning the future. We're going to have a chance to talk about the future. We always do. And maybe this is an opportunity for us to think about perhaps different than we have been thinking about it, because we do know that your plans haven't stayed the same. There's been conditions that have impacted the original plans for possibly a casino, hotel, the possibilities for a destination recreation resort. We know that's changed, and conditions do change. So perhaps today is a chance for us to also think about how we might envision the property here, your property, and how that might fit in with the future of Wood Village, and not only Wood Village, but East Multnomah County. So thanks for being here. Those are my opening remarks. But now let's do introductions. And so since we have a small group and we're all friends, I'll ask our city manager, Greg, to start with his introductions, and just your name, a little bit of background, and then think about something that you would say, man, if I could just do this, or what I really like to do, and if I had a couple of days, something that's really pleasurable. So Greg, you want to start us?
Thank you, Mayor. And again, thanks everyone for the commute and making time during your day to be here. So I am Greg Dirks. I'm the city manager. I've been with Wood Village. It'll be 15 years tomorrow, but been the city manager will be 4 years next month. So pretty good history, essentially not quite born here, but raised here. So love Wood Village. If I had a week of my own, what I did probably a lot of pinball, working on some cars, and then definitely going to Disney, whether it's a park or a cruise or some manner or aspect of a Disney thing. So it's something my wife and I really enjoy doing.
Somebody, I won't try to call on everybody. I'll let you.
Yeah. I'm John Yama. I'm the Public Works Director here at Wood Village, and I've been here about 5.5 years. I was not born, like Greg, I was not born in this area or this state, but grew up in Wood Village, East Multnomah County. Proud to be here. Greg asked if staff could attend. I thought it was great. So I want to, hear a little more about maybe the future of Wood Village and the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde. If I had a week, it would be traveling. I like warm destinations. I like to travel. And I like the outdoors too. So, and just happy to be here. Thank you.
My name is Lene Amen. I'm a counselor and here in Wood Village, and I've lived in East County all my life. I was born in Gresham, East Side till I die, for sure. I'm really proud of our community, specifically Wood Village. I've ever I've been lucky. I also work for the county and I've been lucky to work with a lot of people in my community. And a lot of really amazing people. Feels so it's home, but it also is just like so much like our compassion, I think, and staff here works from a place of compassion. And I'm just really, I forgot the other questions I'm supposed to answer.
What do you want to do for a week?
A week to my own, like with kids or without it?
Totally changes that.
I like, yeah, probably just spending some, I really like to be at home, which is good because I telework and I'm there a lot, but like just to be around my kid and hang out and garden and yeah, hang out with my.
Will that paint your house or paint?
Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah, like painting.
Canvas.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, good. Wow. Something to know about.
Two
you,
artists,
you know?
maybe more in there.
Wow. I'm Mark Clark and I've been on the council off and on since 2007. And I've lived in Wood Village for 21 years, I believe. Yeah, 21 years. Let's see. I've lived in lots of places all over the world. Not in the Pacific area though, until we moved here. I'm speaking of like Japan or anything over in that area too. But lived in Europe, graduated from school in England. Let's see. I wanted to have a week to myself. I'd want to be with my wife. So that's where it is. Or not. I have one state to go, and that's Hawaii, and I've been to all of the state capitals. So I'd probably want to do that, which is on our list fairly soon, I hope, to do. So, and I've enjoyed being.
Thank you, Counselor. Well, you know who I am, and this is my 5th year as a member of the council. My first year as mayor. My parents bought their first new home in Wood Village in 1967. I was a freshman in high school. I've moved back here about 5 years ago to that home because I kept that home in the family. When they passed, I bought it from my siblings and kept it. And at one point we decided we need 1 floor. So that happened to be one of those ranch houses built in the 1960s with 3 bedrooms and 1 bath. So I've had fun remodeling that. We like to travel. My wife and we travel in RVs. And what we like about our travel is that it gives us our independence with the RVs. And what we really enjoy doing is going into small towns. And we were collecting, we had a small antique business. And it was a nonprofit business because we never made any money. And we tried, but anyway, as we traveled, we would pick antiques. So we like going into small towns. We like meeting the local people, and we meet them in a variety of places. Sometimes it's dark in there and they're playing jukebox music that, is old school. But so we like doing that, and gives us a lot of pleasure. And then I certainly like to read, and I always have a book going. And if I don't have a book on my bedstand there to get to next, I start getting nervous, and I need a book. So anyway, we enjoy Wood Village. This has been my time in Wood Village, and then coming back and getting an opportunity to now serve the city in the council position has been really enjoyable for me, and to think about how again we can make something better. It may be something simple, but make something better in the city of Wood Village. So thanks.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jairo Rios Campos, Jairo for non-Spanish speakers. I've lived in Wood Village for 22 years. So I graduated from the Reynolds High School. I've been fortunate enough to start a family here. I've been on council for the last 3 years and council president for the last year. Like mentioned before, with kids or without kids or family, I think my answer is a little different. So I'm a big sports guy. So I think watching football all weekend and basketball, I think it's my way to go. But if my family's there, then we're obviously doing what they want to do. And so it's exploring, traveling. My kids like to bake, so we'll sit there and bake and just spend some good family time.
Good morning. My name is Stacia Hernandez. I'm a member of the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde. My dad's entire family lives on the Grand Ronde Reservation. I've been back working for the tribe now for 11 years as the tribe's chief of staff. It's a pleasure to be here. If I had probably a week to do whatever I wanted, I might take John, Lisa, and the whole crew to Shipwreck. We're really good at planning things and just kind of doing things on a whim. And last time we made it halfway there and they were actually closed. So we had to turn around and come home. So we might actually make it there and work on projects we've been putting off for quite a while. So that would be my
You
idea.
would go?
Shipwreck Beads up in Washington.
So beat store.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, interesting. Yeah.
It's awesome place. Wholesale
Yes.
warehouse.
Wow. So lots of Native Americans will travel there.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, from everywhere.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah.
Well, hi, good morning. My name is Lisa Lino. I am starting my 3rd term on tribal council. Prior to that, I worked in our community for about 25 years. I love serving our people. If I had a week, I think that I would want to be outdoors horse riding with hopefully my great friends are here today doing awesome things. But yeah, that's what I think I'd want to be doing. So, Masi.
My name is Matthew Haller. I am from the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde. First of all, thank you guys for having us here. I'm super humbled to be here. I spent 12 years of my life working for the tribe prior to being on council. This is my first year. I'm newly elected. I'm born and raised in the Grand Ronde area, have 2 kids, 14 and 10. I'm super happy and fortunate. I'm not taking this position lightly, and I'm honored to be in you guys' presence now. If I had a week to do anything what I would want to do, you wouldn't find me because I'd be in the middle of the mountains hunting and fishing.
My name is Dara Tan. I'm the newest counselor. I got sworn in actually on my daughter's birthday on May 9th of this year. So be easy on me today. I've 3 kids. I've lived in Wood Village for 16 years. I'm born and raised in Gresham with my parents live out in Gresham still. I am a branch manager for On Point in Gresham. What else? I love going to the gym. I was just telling a few of these ladies that I wake up at 4 o'clock to go to the gym every morning. So I can get being a mom, being for myself, and then work and all my other obligations. So dedication. If I had a week, I would lay out in the sun. I don't care where, somewhere warm, where there's water, and just not doing it, just mindless, just lay there. You can bring food to me every once in a while, but be somewhere warm.
Thank you. In our language too, we also. John George Nikanim, my name. Tribes of Grand Ronde, tribe. I am 12 years, so 3 election year. Many times, as we can tell by the necklaces and stuff that you had, and that's our honor because not doing don't meet with county, state, whatever, just to meet. More about us building. And like you said, we changes since then too. So I was also like Lisa, I was born and raised in Grand Rock College, and when and actually I'm so glad to hear, because the first time we met you, our attorney and stuff, because we're building a relationship. First times we kind of start. Okay, don't mind them. You tell them you're. There, somebody was there, but I think your chair, your. Yeah. Can't remember. And soon I had to make sure I got the Gresham plug in because there were neighbors type of thing, whatever. And I remember she goes, "Oh no." She goes, get us kicked out of me. No, actually, because I grew up in that down there and stuff too, but we've lived up here over now. Just live right up the street off 282nd
Okay.
and stuff up. But I did drive from Willamina this morning because I was in my mom, but and so those are and that's the important part, I think, of really have these government to go. So much, you know. Because I've been on. I also have an Indian name. So that's why I keep looking at my staff and my things. Yeah, it's Chief Longwind is my. Sometimes do invocations or prayer. My wife says, "Honey, prayer, not sermon." So that's why, so now I really have to be kind of conscious, or I look always to my staff and my fellow council. I'm speaking at an engagement too with me and so too and everything. But he kept going like this. Didn't know that, and so I'm giving I'm up. Listen, they were like trying to tell me to stop. I ended up taking the next speaker's entire time through. And so I felt so I try to be a little more conscious of my speaking and stuff too, but I do. I love antiques too. So we collected. So I have a very large book collection too. And then so back in the 80s, I started collecting old books. I would go through thrift hall and all these things and buy anything less than like. So I have over probably 1,000 old books and stuff too. A lot of 800s too, and a couple bookshelves of those. And then, but one of my bucket lists was, I said, then now so one of our fellow council.
I think, yeah.
Brought me back to 1749. So I love it. So like that. My other bucket list is we're probably in a couple years For a week, I always think that too and everything because I lived down on our family farm during the week. If I had a week, I thought really can do landscaping and stuff. I really wanna. Spend time by myself. Somebody.
Becky's time. She's
So
Thank you, chief.
I was waiting for someone to know that.
I'm Becky Gallion. I've been with the city for almost 12 years now. And if I had a week free, it's kind of a toss up between, you know, a nice tropical all-inclusive vacation or like a driving trip, because there's still some national parks and stuff I'd like to get to go see. And driving trips are kind of fun as long as you can stop wherever you want and see whatever you want to do. So I also noticed that the coffee came in. So if anybody wants to go
Yeah.
get some coffee.
Coffee and water just in the kitchen. There we got glasses out and things, and restrooms are just down the hall over there. We also have a bottle filler there if you have like a hydro flask or something. So.
Good. Matt, the white man wasn't just making idle promises. So, well, thanks for sharing. And this is a good time to get up, get a cup of coffee, water. And again, everybody knows, I think, where the restrooms are, right down the corner there.
Not well.
Yep.
Just gonna go.
Okay, I need some coffee.
So is there a difference between hydro water and?
Oh, yeah.
It's just more, if you have like a hydro flask,
Oh.
it's a bottle
To-
filler,
yeah.
so it's
Easy.
deeper to like get it in versus like the. Set it on it.
It was fun. Meeting's over.
So I did get at 5:15 last night. ODOT.
God.
Still there. This is one.
I did get a.
Oh, response.
There.
Just say hi. Hi, my name's Lisa. Yeah. Hi, my name's Lisa. You know,
Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah.
I guess what?
Kitchen sink?
A 32-inch kitchen sink and a 24-inch dishwasher.
How deep is it?
The kitchen sink.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't.
Standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's, my parents have a little beach house.
It doesn't, yeah.
Which is like the faucet just sticks straight out. I'm like, I can't wash it.
Splashing it. I really enjoy a good industrial sink. So that's what.
No, it's not like a farmhouse style, or is it? Just a big regular.
And it's an undermount.
Under, so
Yeah.
our old house, because we redid the. Redid the whole kitchen, like I refinished the cabinets, we
Yeah.
had granite countertops put in. Out sink, and it was just, because always get the little buildup and you gotta like clean it. This system,
Yeah,
I love underground, like,
yep.
and
Like,
then we also did the like flush mount faucet and
some-
cooking system.
oh, yeah, that's what I'm
I'm a
getting as
Colts
well.
fan.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's a rough
And what
year,
else?
another rough year.
Bulldogs.
Yeah,
Super familiar with the area.
yeah, yeah. For a lot of.
Pretty much.
And for college. I
Yeah,
like
so
the
he has to read my for the
So
cabinets
they,
now that
they've
we
been
worked out
also,
where to.
it's been a good year for them so far.
Yeah, I'm just really excited about it.
Hopefully.
Stuff, but I.
Yeah.
Like dual
Yeah.
fuel.
Yeah, that loss against Washington kind of hurt, but
Just really
it's
pumped
not a
up
bad loss. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Last year, we were lucky. We went to the Civil War. Oh, yeah, it was the same thing because it's like, well, we're winning. And
I
then
would
it's like
buy
we
that.
lost and then we're like, we need to leave early.
Traffic's gonna be bad.
Yeah. Yeah, so we left a little bit early, but it was still good. It was, yeah, I enjoy going to those games.
Sweet. Yeah.
Oh,
Probably, yeah.
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 You gotta pace yourself. It's a long season.
And then my niece brought over.
Weird.
Yeah.
Not sit next to you this one time, but then you sit
Oh.
across from me.
Yeah.
Kind of, right.
Yeah.
John was gonna end up sitting there by.
And then there's some that you're just like, what's going on? Like, I thought the Broncos would do a little better just because of Russell Wilson. And so for them to be, what are they, 2-5?
Yeah.
It's like,
We saw one of the differences. It seems like we kind of,
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just
there's some things that sadden me, but
the offense. Yeah. Yeah.
I think I'm doing well.
I know.
I love the West
Really
Coast.
happy to get that in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very well.
And then I was, I'm not a big baseball guy, but I like the playoffs. So I've been kind of catching that right now. And it's been intense, especially that Houston, Texas. Oh, yeah.
I feel like it was easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were already signatures on it.
Big range. Yeah. You're like, now definitely.
We haven't done Roy's yet. He is still.
Yeah.
There was some type of investigation.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think for me, the playoffs, just because there's more implication in them. Because during the season, it's just like they play like 109 games, and I'm all like, I'm done.
Like, all right, he's on his way to Dallas. Let's plan this.
Yeah.
I do remember that song.
That's just recent. So
Oh, okay.
I get.
Crap, too.
Yeah.
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 But it's very.
Oh, yeah.
Well.
Oh, yeah. Like following them the whole year. Oh, my goodness. You're like, I'll stay home. Yeah.
So they were like, brought me on as a project manager.
Physical.
Get along.
Important work.
So anyway.
I don't know what. So many things.
Yeah.
I drink a lot.
I know. Yesterday was, I don't know
Not
if
like
it was where
regular
you
water,
guys in
it's just like-
Salem.
Just tastes like my
Yeah.
breath. You know what I mean? Like, I mean.
Oh, I know.
No,
Yes.
that's the other
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
It tastes like
Yeah, yeah.
beach.
Yeah.
I mean, when you drink so much
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
regular water
Yeah.
too, so we just.
I
so we
like I
have
manage the
auto
recreation
delivery.
program and I also like we get phone calls. It's like, are you canceling today? It's like, no,
Like,
it's like I think you guys can suck it up.
It's actually called infused, like.
It's going pretty good.
Infused
Yeah, so we were
water,
able,
so they look
we have a
clear,
partnership with the city of
but
Gresham now.
Like,
So
we
that,
have like,
yeah, so we're really, it's picking up quite quickly.
like cases, yeah, and so too.
So now we
Have like lemon.
like so I'm planning for the winter and so
strawberry, kiwi.
we're,
and so too, my
for the fall, we
favorite is
offer
grape.
like
Yeah.
24 programs. For the winter, we're gonna be offering like 30.
Yeah, so it's just auto delivery.
So we're growing quite, quite.
Well, I kind of hate to stop this conversation. I might as well just let it go. Yeah,
Oh,
really. Yeah.
No, it's just water flavor and fruit.
yeah, yeah.
There's no other hint,
Yes.
HINT.
There's an idea.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll do it. Remind me of that. if we-
yeah. It's more
I think
competitive.
that might be.
Okay. Yes, well, I mean,
Yeah.
whenever we meet one, but
Yeah.
that's a good idea. Well, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, it's more competitive, but I think that's like a good age to do. Sometimes they start them out.
Well, it's good discussion. We're gonna be doing this anyway today.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Now, I'm gonna see if I can call this meeting to order again.
You told me you're smart. I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'll get fired up on the coffee and we'll be wired and we should get a whole bunch of stuff done. You know, I meant to call out this, but if you look at this corner over here and that's a paddle.
Yes.
Yes, and
Paddle.
at our opening ribbon cutting, the tribe presented the paddle from us and if you want to give a little description of what the history of that paddle is and what it means, and that'd be nice.
Okay, and I think you too, you displayed it very well too, because a paddle should always stand.
Stand up. Excellent, excellent.
Always, yeah, at rest, thank you. And so it's carved by one of our tribal artists and stuff too, Brian Crable. And so because we go on canoe journey every year too. And so, but for us, it's to have a paddle really, and your own really too is kind of like owning something valuable too. And so when we do gift paddle or something to means is like, just like giving you a necklace with dentalia. We want to gift you something of value to us, but means something to us. And it, in return, it shows us that we're not selfish people. Gift someone, gift them something very meaningful and valuable.
Thank you. And that's, that makes me think that, if we had a map up there, then that would be perfect. And we
I'll
could-
own that. Great. That's on me.
No, we've had that conversation.
I was talking to
earlier, so-
Stacia and they're updating all their digital maps to make them really crisp and clear. So we'll be getting a map in the next few weeks or a month.
And again, we were talking to break a little bit. It would be nice in our lobby if we had like art displays or displays of baskets and we could rotate it. And again, as people come in this building, they can see that. And again, it's history and maybe spark an interest that somebody's going to or read about a picture they see or go over there and look at that map. I guess maybe I'm getting into the next topic here, discussion projects, mutual interest. And I don't mean to be putting that under there, but let's have the conversation. Projects or, what are things of mutual interest that we could brainstorm? I'm not a poster board person, so I'm not writing anything down on a poster board, but let's just let it be kind of a free flowing conversation here. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I appreciate it. They're looking to me because I'm actually the senior council person here because we have no officers here.
Can I call you chief? Is it?
You're quite all right, dude.
Okay.
There's no offense to that because I told you my name was and I'll tell you over lunch how I got that name too, but it's like, you can imagine. So I'll start and I'll say they're looking at me to,
Okay.
remember, lunch is at 11:30. Give me 5 more minutes.
Yeah, if we do that, it's not 5 minutes.
And so as I know, when we first met, so too, that's how, when we came to purchase, the former, I guess, call it Greyhound Racetrack from that. And I think some of them were here too, because I think that part is like, we had quite an event with a demolition. I mean, I love that. I think one of the other counselors would just mention that because we said we're meeting with Woodville and she goes, oh yeah, she goes, I loved it. She goes, because we got to go into the backhoe and then break out the big glass windows. Let you move it forward like this and the backhoe, because it was really big. And you got to move forward and then smash into the glass window and watch it come down and stuff too. So but through those types of meetings, I remember we always, like you said, but I remember your former chair too. I mean, right where we're sitting here, first met with them and everything else. And the first question out of her mouth before, just right after it, I says, and you're going to build a casino, right? Like, so we like, she did, that was the first thing out there. And of course we know that would bring a lot of jobs and tourism to your area and stuff too. But, of course, the governors are pretty staunch about one casino per tribe. So that's, in all fairness, I mean, too. And then the tribes with the casinos are the largest employers in their counties too. So bring a lot of jobs to rural areas. So then we did that, had that nice event. We've also shared in the space also with the vaccine clinics. So that we came and there was other tribes there and stuff too, and native organizations, but we came and we drummed and opened the event with and stuff too. And was it Scott?
Scott. Yeah.
Whatever. Nice guy too, whatever too. And he always wore his necklaces. He still, because we had so many necklaces, when it came down to him, we had this like really short one. Too. And it was like all of a sudden, it was like, I had to roll it over his head. So I thought he was gonna have to wear it as a headband. For the team because I felt it was too short. And he still.
I sit beside him every day.
He always teased me about that.
Yeah.
I can still get it on. It's like a little joker on me. This is how we build our friendships, Matthew. He'd come up, show me, he goes, I can still get it on. And so like that. And so, I mean, those types of things, we always look forward to really, is if there's anything that you have asked of us too and stuff too, how we can come to the table and meet it on projects. And I think we did present the casino also thing too. And so that, of course, that was an idea, but then we had to just kind of ended that because of the also the new governor's declaration that tribes for two, because Washington, I think, is allowed. Washington, and they all can have 3.
Do you think that that at some point that one tribe for that the governor has declared would be mediated some? That you get any conversations that room in there for pretty hardcore?
Yeah, I would say not at this time. I mean, the thing though with this property is there's a lot of other economic opportunity. And so one of the things that our council is potentially looking at now that we have an interim economic development director on board is revisiting our old feasibility studies that had a variety of uses kind of projected on site.
Yeah.
And so we'll work on updating that here in the
the
next several
retail.
months. Yeah.
Yeah, some of those that were retail and other.
But the thought I have is since I have quite a bit of knowledge with a 7-step process with the federal government, is that you represent 5 tribes and what, 32 bands or more?
Hmm.
So why would the governor be against the Grand Ron with 5 tribes? Wouldn't that be able to represent 5 casinos?
No, because they're confederated under the
Oh,
Grand Ron. Because the 38 bands of Indians were moved. Then actually was a
it's actually
confederation.
considered one.
So yes, at one point it was 5 separate tribes, but since
Yeah.
we've been confederated, now we are only one tribe, which is now Grand Ron.
Represents.
I did not know that.
And a lot of tribes have different bands that were pushed into them to make up their people.
Like the Cow Creek is have different tribes from their area that they're still confederate, they're still under the one Cow Creek tribe, but there's many bands that lived in that area. Only 9 federally recognized tribes.
Thank you. Yeah.
Other councils, this is free flowing here because I have a couple questions too, but it's free flowing and let's
Yeah, so.
generate some ideas.
So with the projects that you have in mind, is there a timeline or a goal that you want to kind of narrow it down to maybe finalizing or kind of moving in a direction? Have you set or is that just kind of
Well,
up in the air more
Well,
like?
that's,
what's-
the idea is that we do have to change. Or we do have to redirect now away from the casino
Mhm.
idea, which was off of those. And I think some of our conversations also around traffic flow and stuff too, the difficulty of that was a lot of the work. There were many meetings on how you would sign traffic flows and stuff. We see like on coming down 232nd or something, they almost thought of future growth too, that already have some lanes that are there that don't put in roundabouts or these types of things. But it was really a lot of the traffic flow that would really and hit Halsey and stuff too. And some of because that food cart has already gone in that area because they were thinking some of that or that Chevron gas station and stuff may have too. But then they build that food cart stuff too. And so it's already, so then, yeah, so a roundabout wouldn't fit in there now. And I think there's a park across with a heritage tree or something in it too.
And an apartment complex too.
And-
now.
23rd and Halls.
Those types of
About that.
things. And I know, so, but,
Well, that's
this is
a
why
lot of
we-
money, those
yeah, why
traffic
we want
studies.
to continue and so that like today and stuff to really come together and see, hey, what makes, like they mentioned housing and stuff too. We know housing is just everywhere and affordable housing at
Yeah.
that.
Like, is the intention housing or low?
Because part of our first design had some apartment complex. Stacia's are usually our project managers too. So I
Yeah,
don't want
the
to
initial
go-
feasibility study did include housing components. Obviously, there's been a lot of build out since we did that study, which is why we're hoping to go back and kind of tool it and figure out kind of what the uses could be that would be feasible to do on site. So, but that is an option that will be put back out there. I don't know how many units have been built, certainly in
Yeah,
the city or
across.
surrounding area in the last, 5 years or so, but my guess is that it's been significant, obviously probably still not enough, but I think that'll change those numbers. So hopefully in the next 3 months, to 6 months, we can get that feasibility study kind of updated, and then we can start having conversations about how to move some of that work forward and look at other alternative strategies for the site.
Price or like low income?
We assess all of that. So that's one of the tasks that we'll give that group, is to look at all of those options. And, at least from our own development, what I can say is our council's been very good about prioritizing all of those. So we've always tried to do like a really healthy mix, because we understand affordable housing is so important. So we'll probably look at what we can reasonably accomplish. Yeah.
Can I chime in for a couple minutes on going back to kind of those original, broad-based concepts? I think, the idea was cottage type housing. I think very similar to your current senior housing project, kind of that style of home, more on the area that borders the wetlands park. That way it's kind of fitting with the current residential across Wood Village Boulevard, but has the park aspect. And then, whether it was going to be like a big hotel casino thing or just, some sort of, I'll call it generic family entertainment, we certainly understand that doesn't come free. And, it takes a long time to develop the economic plans. Our code has also been updated in the recent years to allow for, we call them kind of micro or commercial pods, using kind of free prefabbed kiosks, not shipping containers. We specifically called out and prohibited shipping containers because I think that's uggo. But that may be an option to think about for like an intern between kind of now and whenever maybe something may be going to both, generate activity on the site, some hopefully returns for you, and then maybe proof of concept for certain ideas. I just want to throw that out. Our code does enable that. And, certainly have some space over there for that. We've updated our master plans and we've included, as a generic entertainment, assuming like an 8-inch meter for that. And so we have capacity for that. So kind of sky is the limit on what's going to work well. And then 2 more things. Our economic condition regionally has changed, as kind of noted upon. So you can go back 5 or 8 years ago and you draw that kind of 1 mile circle, 3 mile circle, 5 mile circle. It's vastly different, including Wood Village, because of that recent development. Not saying we still don't have pockets of, poverty and need. We've also, because of our population, when you bring in, 171 apartments, 42 new single family homes, and some other smaller development, we've gone from, a median household income of mid-30s to kind of low 50s. And, certainly, Troutdale, Gresham, Fairview, they're in a very similar boat too. So hopefully that speaks well to getting something. And my preference is, if you haven't been to Langer's out in Sherwood, I would love a Langer's type thing here.
Noted.
I do have a question, because obviously the casino was something that was not only going to be economic benefit for our area, but for you guys as well. And so I appreciate you guys asking us like, oh, what would we like? But what makes sense for you all to have, knowing that you guys can have that economic support from what you guys were going to gain from that gaming entertainment?
Yeah, I think we'd have to look at it like any other developer would, only obviously being a sovereign tribal nation, we do have, avenues in front of us that would possibly be a little different. And still favorable to the tribe. One project that I'm excited to get to work on is actually with the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians as well. And we have a property in Kaiser where we've taken 14 plus acres and we're working on developing that. So I think through proof of progress with that project, I think our council and individuals in our tribe are excited to kind of see what else could be on the horizon. So if the numbers pan out and the feasibility study shows that this is doable, through a variety of either ground leases or different mechanisms, I do think there's appetite to consider those and to pursue something that could benefit both the city, surrounding area, and the tribe as well.
Can I just add to this conversation that the housing is important? I would like to see something that would generate some jobs, something in the commercial end that would provide jobs for people in Wood Village would be, I think,
as we're stewards of the land, I would like to see it continue to provide support for our families. And housing is, of course, again, important. But if we can try to fit that into future discussions for our community, I think that would be important for those coming after us.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have more than 900 members that live in and around this area, not just, obviously back home on the reservation. So that's something we would definitely prioritize as well.
Thank you.
And if we could stay away from warehouses.
Yeah.
Agreed. They're not very pretty
got enough
either,
of those.
so I don't really like them.
Enough of those.
The Port of Portland is taking care of that for us.
Because Stacia, wasn't it one of our first feasibility studies was a retail, was looking at retail. And some of the answer was there wasn't a high enough median that said that would support the businesses that we were looking at and putting in there. But I think with that, such a large retail area there anyway, with Fred Meyer's and Kohl's and those other types of things. And even possibly, I think we got a height, be able to make a higher hotel. Because the part of that, I think that retail was also convention area too for the hotel, because McMenamins is so many concerts there and so many to needing to stay during those concert series and types of, or have our own concerts, in a like a convention, area with hotel and stuff too, to bring in also other entertainment at, those areas. We had that, and then a smaller retail venue too with restaurants and.
Since you're in that.
Yeah, but I do remember, I think, Stacia, and correct me, but I just remember that they had also said, well, in that, like you said, in those those miles out and stuff too, that said that the median income probably would not support.
Greg, is there any, besides commercial, we can't do any small manufacturing or crafts, or is there any way to, it's sovereign land.
Well,
I don't know
it's
what-
not. This is actually, yes, they are a tribal interest and it's owned by tribal government. It's actually owned as any other property would. That's where the process of getting it to a federal trust land would have made it
I see,
different.
that's right.
So, but today it's under our zoning code.
All right. That answers that.
Which is very favorable for any developer that were to come in and do it. I mean, the ability to have a variety of uses or mixed use is a huge benefit to this property. And that's something we'll look to.
Where is that on the national level, your effort at getting that through the Bureau of Indian Affairs that you?
Yeah, so at this point, nothing has been filed. So we did do the assessment to see whether or not we could potentially take the land into trust. And there's two different avenues to do that. So you could, if it were to be a gaming project, which right now, obviously that's off the table. And a large reason why we had pursued that opportunity again was in response to another tribe filing an application to move land into trust for gaming in Salem, Oregon. That's been tabled. So the other avenue would be to potentially put an application in to take the land into trust for the purposes of economic development, which is still on the table and something we could evaluate, but we haven't done that yet at this point.
Okay.
But revisiting the feasibility study, and obviously by working with you all, we would look to see whether or not that's something we should or shouldn't do.
And to touch on, I'll call it like manufacturing or the sort, I'll have to dig back deeper, because I know once upon a time, before you all bought it, there was a drone manufacturer looking at that site. And I can't recall if we'd have to do zone tweaks or not for that. I know for Halsey, which is kind of a sister zone to the town center, we have recently enabled as a conditional use kind of low impact manufacturing, because we're thinking you can do a lot with 3D printers or maker spaces that under, traditional zoning codes would be manufacturing, but it's not manufacturing in the way in which, it's actually occurring. So I have to look at that, but that's certainly, I think, because we already enable that specifically in the neighborhood commercial, certainly I think that's something if it's not in there now, we can look into. I also want to mention, because it wasn't necessarily applicable when it was going kind of the trust application, but that entire site's in our urban renewal agency. And our current program is, it goes through the urban renewal board, have to support the project, approve it, et cetera. But generally it's 25% of the net return to the agency goes back to support the project, primarily through like permits, SDCs, that kind of thing. So when you're working through your analysis, your economic feasibility studies, if it's not going to be in trust land for economic development, that's something that could be on the table for discussion to put into your metrics and your numbers and your accounting people. Oh, one more thing, on the town center. So again, it's a few years, it's pre-COVID. So that's like my calendar point now is a pre-COVID, is a investment group called Sire Equity has bought the majority part of the town. So not Fred Meyer, Lowe's, a few other places have their own independent slots in there. They've been great partners to work with for new development. And if you've driven through there, we're getting a Chipotle. That's the building that's near finished now. We open up next month or first part of December. The site just to the north there is going to be a Chick-fil-A. They're working through some earned is the original developer to get stuff moving, put a lot of deed restrictions on kind of first in. So, height restrictions, use restrictions. We're not party to those. So, from our perspective, we've enabled the zone to build out, like reduce some of the parking to do interior development and all this other stuff. They can't do it because of those deed restrictions. And so they see there is a lot of economic activity for that center as a whole. And that may be something that you all then can capitalize on because you don't have those deed restrictions. So if you're looking at, there's a lot of vacant open space in this town center, maybe that's, indicative of, not viability. It's more deed restriction instead of just, could something work there? Yeah, I've learned a lot about development over the last few years.
And we got a Chick-fil-A at Chamawa Station. Very popular because In-N-Out's across Chamawa Road, but yeah, like that, but yeah. And Gresham has their new Chick-fil-A.
I'm more of an In-N-Out person myself.
Yeah.
Well, we may have one here in Wood Village too.
Oh, wow.
And then
I want to make it clear, no one's approached us to have one. It would be nice to have one. Yeah, we've had a number of community members like.
Mary's gonna build one.
It's
Chick-fil-A, live chicks, come on.
Oh, we're going in a different.
Yeah, that's right. Really, no idea is a bad idea now. You got.
Well, so certainly once you, get underway with your studies, you have questions like most of our stuff's online, like all of our stuff's online. We have questions about like where to find it. How do you just know? Like we're happy to be, we do that for any of our landowners, developers, like just what's good for Wood Village is good for everybody. And, we certainly understand you're not funding it for, say you have shareholders, your shareholders are your members and you've got their education, you've got their healthcare, you've got, all those, the needs. And so we really appreciate and understand where the money is going. And so it needs to make a healthy return to fund those things.
Yeah.
You also have a lot into this so far too. So
There's another concept there of housing that this is it would be housing for employees. So I don't want to get too far out here with examples that might not make any sense. But if there were opportunities for some kind of jobs, they may be, it could be with a nonprofit, for instance, that is serving the community and serving East County. And we could build employee housing that really becomes a venture in having what would be a small community that would have ownership and that would be developed, not like a pod on asphalt in downtown Portland, but a village in itself where the homes would be perhaps even constructed by individuals. And it becomes, like I said, a small village that has amenities. It could be communal kitchens. It could be communal gardens. And the people that live there have ownership to it. And they begin to take their ownership into also managing it. And it becomes in itself a training and opportunities for people to have a house, start learning some of that responsibility that goes with, and accountability for where you're at, and steps and support people having another avenue to move forward. The other thing I would say, so again, I'm putting ideas out there, and we all, I want to make sure that everybody has a chance to put some thoughts out there. The park that we have, once again, this is a piece of property that is, there's not another piece of property in East County in our area right now this large, and we don't need to rush into it. We need to move forward, but I don't want to, just make a decision to make a decision. And that reserve we have, that 3.5 acres, 4.5 acres, incorporate that. So it's not in isolation of what else happens, and maybe even enhance that. So we do take care of the land, and we do preserve it, and we do create green space, and we do plant trees. So incorporating that, I think, is for me would be an important aspect of whatever we do up there.
Yeah, agreed.
What, any thoughts about, you said how many people from Grand Ron, how many people live in your membership, live here?
About 900 in the Tri-County area.
What would be wrong with a training center? Have a place for your members to be able to come and associate here in Wood Village.
Yeah, I don't think anything.
Community
I think
center.
that's definitely something that could be evaluated. I know when we did the old feasibility study, there were a few things that weren't heavily explored, like employee housing, which we know there are successful models in the state that have taken place. So, I mean, we could look at some of those other items that we didn't explore heavily in the first round of the feasibility study. I think those are very valid things to bring to the table.
And with the Metro supportive housing dollars, that may be another,
Right.
like, I don't know how to get dollars out of that. Could be another avenue to help
Yeah.
make something viable, whether it's,
Absolutely.
tribal
Mhm.
elders, workforce housing. Just another thought, and also just in terms of a healthy mix of uses. Multnomah County has resources for childcare daycare centers, which is a big need for our region. I'm sure,
Yes.
Right.
And then have a school too.
Mhm.
So just again, I'm just tossing
Light
all those
ideas.
discussions,
Send all the ideas to us. We love them.
other dollars associated to help, if those pencil better.
Yeah.
If we're just gonna throw ideas out there, I would just, highlight recreation. So,
Yeah, I did see a few articles
Yeah.
some time ago about
Nice.
something, which I
Yeah.
was like, that's news to me.
Yeah,
Good to know.
so I think recreation is a huge driving force for a lot of things, economic development and stuff like that. So looking
Right.
around here, there's not a lot of recreation, like big facilities to hold things. And so that can be something to be explored as well.
Then you could also have a place for people to come and shop, the local art that your creativity, and then have that openness that you're looking for. you have all these shops around here where they have apartments above and you have shops below and things like that. And you get and develop that kind of atmosphere as well.
Or kind of the other way around, the East Side Timbers are doing some unique upgrades to their facility where they're creating the plain facilities on the bottom, and then they're putting food and retail on top, so then they can be as a viewing. And so as, you know, those kids are participating, adults are playing, you know, people around can view, but then also have the economic development aspect of it. So.
If I may just go back to the data, underscore that there's, and this reflects, I guess, most of the county, but there's not a lot of affordable after-school care, especially with Reynolds School District really having a difficult time getting a contractor for that, and it is impactful. So yeah, that is something I feel like is important for us. For me, I should say.
And that,
For everyone else.
there are dollars associated with that. So we're not just trying to say, hey, you know, it's wants and, you know, I don't know how to get the dollars, but.
In the dollars.
Well, as we say, as we read this each and every meeting that we have, your presence here is very valuable to us. And that's a huge thought for us, for me anyway.
Absolutely. It's, well, it, again, we learn from each other and we learn, you know, certainly the land is, we all are stewards of it. So it's getting close to 11:30. So we probably, it's about time to take a break because we've been working really hard. But I did have another economic idea.
You know, second, John.
What?
Taking a break.
Yeah.
No, I said I knew that I would like Mayor John the second that I walked in here. We've had some interesting conversations already. So no, we're gonna hang out, and it's a different rivalry. He went to the rival school of mine.
You usually wear a hearing aid, so.
But here's my last idea. All right, you guys.
It is.
I think we could pull it off if we all keep it quiet right now. Okay. We come out of here and the plan is to go get the distributor for those beads you're going all the way up there for. And we bring.
I love it.
I love that.
That's awesome.
Probably the native shop that we go to is on Division,
Oh,
and it has these old
Oh.
beads and.
can we buy them out?
Oh, yeah. Yes,
What?
the bead sorts, the bead sorts.
And that's
Okay.
around here?
Yeah.
And that's what's called the bead source?
Yeah.
I'll have to check
Yeah,
that
it's
out afterwards. Let me see. What's that?
Tribal members that work there too.
I will stop by on my way out here.
I took Lisa and on our way back, the shipwreck was closed, so we were coming back.
Cool, cool.
So I said, well, let's go to the bead source. Yeah, they just.
You have a good selection.
Again, before we break for lunch, what other questions do you have for us or needs or thoughts?
Personally, I don't have questions for any of you guys. I do enjoy a lot of the ideas. Something that I really would say that I favor is the multi-use. I love the ideas of having a recreation center or a daycare, or potentially the combination of both with housing included. So multi-use to me is favorable. A bead store.
Yeah.
Bog's the one called the.
Oh, yeah, that's, yeah.
Our cars would appreciate that as well.
So the ideas are great. Keep them coming. I appreciate you guys and what you guys are doing and helping us in advancement moving forward. But like you said, not just making a decision to make a decision, but making a decision that we know will be good for both Woods Village and for the tribe.
You bet. Yeah.
And if I may take the opportunity, and I really apologize that too, because that was one of the things that I did not mention when we were. She goes 1 minute.
Not 5 more, John.
No, for also, I mean, for our partnership, it's up to our friendship, purchasing the park on the property and stuff too. So I really did. I apologize for not thanking you right up front and
We thank you for allowing us to purchase it and make it something special, hopefully.
Yeah.
And incorporate, ideally, whether it's info boards about, what some of the native plants could be used for, if not, art that, looks like someone gathering something or animal there, 200 years ago. So we have big ideas. It's just a matter of, getting it done. But thank you for allowing us to secure that.
And it's like this, when we have meetings too, it just becomes brainstorming,
Sure.
dreaming, and all that stuff too, because we were thinking of the same thing. It's like it would be a part of like education for the area
Mhm.
with signage, but we thought even like maybe like Plank House type of thing, so it would look like one of the villages at Lewis and Clark in Blue Lake and stuff. There were over 300 plank houses that recorded in their journals.
Yeah.
See, that's what we
maybe
want to
that,
incorporate
That and
with our-
because
with that
we
property.
thought about even like where they could come and like actually have families like pay to stay.
well,
in a plank
and
house
maybe even
too, like
build on
overnight.
that.
And so we say like, live like an Indian, live like an Indian.
It would be called Long Wind Village.
Yeah. Just to echo that, the Lewis and Clark, the national Lewis and Clark site down by Astoria. That generates,
Fort Stevens.
that generates a lot of tourists. So maybe would that be wonderful if we came up with a creative idea to create a village where there is also retail, but really a destination for the history of the area as well as generating some retail. So,
Yep. That's what I said. We keep dreaming.
yeah. And again, we're able to do this because we do have some trust. And we're able to sit around the table and just have ideas and nobody walks away saying, we're going to do this. And they promise that. Is the food here?
Oh, it's been here.
Really? Just go ahead. No, you and I are at the end of the line. All right. Let's break for lunch and you want to introduce some of the natural leaders? Bring them out. We'll